The fifth big trend is how do you decode digital signals? And I think this is something that NASA probably specializes in. But it's this idea of, as you get all this noise, how do you really understand how do you filter the signal from the noise? How do you figure out what that means so you can actually take and make decisions that make sense for yourself and your organization? And there's so many tools that are coming out now on a very basic level. For example, if you have a blog or a website, I know Google Analytics is really sort of the basic when it comes to digital signals because it'll tell you so much. If you have that installed, for example, it'll tell you how many people are visiting your site from a mobile device. And if it's 50% or more, this is especially true for the private sector, but the website's not actually optimized to be viewable in mobile, you're literally losing half your potential customers. If your bounce rate, for example, is 70% or higher, and that means someone comes to your site and within a few seconds decides to hit the back button and leaves, that means you're losing 70% of the people who would potentially come to your site that never actually even make it long enough to go through the home page. As these tools become more available and accessible to us, it'll tell us a great story, and these stories can help you really reframe your message and better refine it. And so what I thought was really neat earlier when I was getting the demo back there in the ERO office was the Facebook trends and looking at what type of posts do better and posting more of those, and looking at what types of material does better, what are the best times to post. So it's almost like becoming a data scientist to some degree as the noise increases, and really making sure how do we then get the most out of our efforts. And so HubSpot is a company, for example, that does this, and this is interesting in that this one software alone, it allows you to track emails, and you can see who opened your emails, what time they opened it, would they actually look at the proposal that you sent. So now when you call someone, you're not saying, hey Bob, did you ever get a chance to look at that proposal I sent? Because you know they did. It also means, by the way, guys, it's getting harder and harder to make excuses and lie. Okay, because if Bob says, oh, I haven't, and you're like, no, Bob, I know you're lying because you did. I can tell. In fact, I know you spent 2 minutes and 15 seconds on it. You know, and you got to page 3, but you really didn't get to page 4. And that's where I put all my important information. But this rise in digital signals and what it tells us will continue to be a trend that we'll absolutely need in order to stand out. Here's another software that came out, a program. It's called Gaugin, and it tracks Fortune 1000 private companies and some public too. But you can set up alerts so it tells you certain pieces of information that allow you to be more relevant. So, for example, if you knew that your buyer was an HR director at a company, and they just got a new HR director, wouldn't that be the perfect time to approach that company? So this goes back to context and relevancy, and approaching people at the right time, right place makes you relevant, it makes you useful, versus when you do the opposite, it makes you what? Starts with an S and ends with an M. Spam. Spam. The differentiator is really time and context. And these tools really allow you to get a better sense of that.